Hello and welcome to Indie Plus Demos. My name is Rich and we are going to be demoing a game that as of this recording is still on Kickstarter if you're interested, and I'm sure that it's already hit goals, so I'm sure if you get this way after August 6th, I believe we've got about 4 days left on the Kickstarter as of right now, so if it's after that time frame, go look for it on your Drive-Thru RPG or other places. I'm sure that Caroline can explain that later. So this game is called Downfall, and before I go there, let me quickly say that this does adhere to the Indie Plus community standards, and if you want to find out more about that, you can head to indieplus.org, and then you can find out about our standards. This probably won't include, but could possibly, based on the content, include some descriptions of graphic violence. There's the possibility of explicit language. I'm just blanket saying that that's a possibility here, and so let me introduce our player, and then we'll hand it off to Caroline to walk us through her game Downfall. First, besides me, we have Jen. How are you doing, Jen?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Great, great, great. All right, and then we have Caroline Hobbs. So Caroline, tell us about Downfall, and let's get started.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rich. And I'm really happy to be here and be able to share the game on Indie Plus. It's a really exciting thing to be able to connect with people who are gaming and connect over the internet. It's super exciting. So Downfall is a 3-player game. That's why there's 3 of us only. And it's GM-less, dice-less, and super fun. It's about the collapse of a society due to some sort of fatal flaw that's at work within it. And rather than kind of explain how it's all going to work, we're just going to go through and play it and learn it step by step as we go. So let me read you the intro text, and we'll get going. So our home is breaking, shattered by our own failings. This is the story of our downfall. We can't be saved, but we can make our end meaningful. As the story opens, our society is approaching its final days. Though most of us can't perceive the coming doom, a hero arises, helplessly struggling against the inertia of collapse. Downfall is the story of how we try to save our society and ourselves and fail. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is figure out the flaw that's at the core of our society's self-destruction. So a flaw is like a big human social failing, something like greed or pride or trust or loyalty, that sort of thing. So if you look at the reference sheet that I gave you, there's a list of flaws right up at the top. We have, I'll just read it out for those following along at home. We have ambition, complacency, greed, jealousy, loyalty, materialism, perfectionism, pride, selfishness, trust, and vanity. And that's not an exclusive list, but it's a good starter list. And we'll just pick sort of one broad topic that we're interested in exploring during our game. So what sounds interesting to folks? Rich?
Yeah, I was looking at these before. A flaw of loyalty is pretty weird. I like that as an idea. What about you, Jen? Anything that appeals?
That works for me.
Cool. So how would we define loyalty as a group? What do we mean by loyalty?
The first thing that comes to my mind is like loyalty to the land that the kingdom is in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's jingoism, that kind of bizarre patriotism that exceeds sense.
Okay, cool. So we're not talking about like interpersonal loyalty. We're talking about larger kind of like patriotism loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I'm just going to write that down. Loyalty. And particularly loyalty to the state. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the overarching theme of our game. Loyalty is the catalyst for our collapse. Go figure. It's going to be pretty good. Okay, so next we're going to decide elements. So again, at that reference list, these elements are going to give us a picture of the physical world of our kingdom. So each of us is going to choose one element, and this is, again, not an exhaustive list. So just take a moment to look through it and sort of pick one that stands out to you. And then after we've each decided on one, we'll share.
Can you help me out, Caroline, on the elements? I see water, air, trees. Is that something we're going to use to paint the picture of the world? I'm a little confused.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what we're going to use to start as sort of a launching off point for the physical world that we're in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just reading through the list.
I think I like ink.
Ink? Awesome. I like grass.
Ink and grass. Interesting. I'm partial to waterfall.
Cool. Okay, cool. So let's talk about what those three things together sort of bring to mind in terms of like a physical world and in terms of like genre vis-a-vis like magic and tech and that sort of thing. So ink kind of makes me think of like, what does ink make you think of, Jen?
Well, I mean, like ink makes me think of like books and, you know, like fancy calligraphy and book printers and stuff.
Yeah, totally. That was my first thought with ink, was the fancy calligraphy.
Well, that's interesting because the first thing I thought of was tattoos.
Yeah. Grass makes me think of like big rolling plains.
Like super tall grass.
Yeah, it also kind of makes me think of horses.
Cool.
Yeah. What do you think of waterfalls? Waterfall.
Yeah, it was just the idea of ink and liquid emotion. So I think waterfalls makes me think of course, Niagara Falls and just the din, the noise of a huge waterfall. The idea of looking over the precipice of that. Interesting to me.
Yeah. So like looking at it from the top of the waterfall?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let's talk about the physical world of, and sorry, I totally skipped talking about this. The setting of the game is called the Haven. So if I'm saying Haven throughout setup, that's what I mean. I mean the kingdom that we're in. Sorry about that. So let's talk about the location of it, what the natural surroundings look like, our habitations, that kind of thing. So I really like the idea of being in these rolling hills like above this waterfall that just kind of seems like the end of the world.
Oh, cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks really neat.
I was going to say the waterfall reminded me of Discworld, which is a waterfall like off the edge of the disc, and it's just always flowing.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Cool. How like developed do you think our culture is?
Well, I feel like if there's like books and printing, you know, that implies a certain amount of sort of sophistication. I don't necessarily need to see like high tech, or we could. I mean, I'm open.
Like Renaissance level, maybe. You know, book printing, muskets.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Like I kind of like the idea of, even though it's kind of this high, not super high, but high level of technology or industrialization. It's not. It doesn't look industrial. Like we still have the landscape going off.
Yeah. I like it.
Cool. Do we feel like we all kind of have a visual picture of what this is looking like so far?
Yeah.
Well, how big is Haven, the city? Is that something?
Yeah, that's up to us. We should definitely talk about that. So if our, not to go too far into the future, but if our flaw is loyalty, and it's specifically like loyalty to the state, it seems like there should be other like neighboring states that are not part of our Haven. Yeah.
They're not as good as us.
No way. So maybe like a large city-state, or are we feeling something smaller?
Yeah, I like that, a city-state.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And it sounds like we're going to keep the magic dial kind of low and the high-tech dial low.
I'm open to the magic dial, maybe a little bit more than the high-tech dial, personally.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. So we'll see where that goes. So now we're going to make some traditions. So the haven was built with the flaw at its center, and it manifests itself in the practices, beliefs, and thoughts of the people. So these traditions are the social landscape of our haven. We'll make 6 in total. Each of us will create 2, and then we'll add details to 2. To create a tradition, first choose a category, and those are on, if you look at the traditions document. So examples are religion, government, economics, architecture, education, military, justice, fashion, art, relationships, family, death, birth, entertainment, food, and hospitality. We're going to do this 2 times. Each time we do it, everyone needs to choose a different category. So I'll just demonstrate first. So I'm going to do one about military, because that just pops out really easy. So I'm writing down the category of military, and then I'm going to write a tradition. So something that we do that relates to the category. And also, it's a strong move if it has to do with loyalty or with one of the 3 elements that we picked. It doesn't have to, but that's a useful thing to try to do. We raid neighboring city-states for gold and stuff. Okay, so we'll each create a tradition like that, and then we'll each add a symbol, and then we'll make another round of traditions.
Cool. I have one for death. I think that people who maybe die like honorable deaths in the eyes of the state, the sort of funeral is they get thrown into the waterfall.
Cool. So that's for specifically people who die.
Like honorable deaths, maybe specifically in service of the city-state, or after completing a career, or I'm not totally sure, but it's like a mark of honor. I see it.
So I'm going to write down those who die honorable deaths have their bodies cast over the fall. Cool. Oh, cool.
And I think conversely, then those who aren't honorable are buried in the earth.
Cool. So try to choose a category other than death. We shouldn't have 2 of the same category.
Oh no, I was just.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was just thinking that could be the flip side of the exact same thing.
Totally.
Please tell me if this makes it too militaristic, but government, those who serve in the military are citizens. All the rest are civilians.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
There's a caste system for those who have actually served within those who the rulers are those who have come through the military. So it's kind of a junta. Is that too militaristic?
No, that's great. That's great. So yeah. So if you've served in the military, you effectively get a say in the government, but if you haven't, you really don't.
Right.
Cool.
Everyone can vote, but only those who've served can serve on a seat of council.
Okay. Cool. Oh, and this is where that we're playing online gets a little wonky. We need to have like a little seating order, so I'm just going to draw it down on a little sticky note so I can keep track of it. So, Rich, you're going to be to my left, and Jen, you're on my right. Okay. So we're going to pass our tradition to the... This is wonky online. We're going to pass your tradition to the left. So, Rich, you're going to add a symbol to mine. Jen, you're going to add a symbol to Rich's, and I'm going to add a symbol to yours, Jen. And a symbol is something that's emblematic of the tradition. It's something that we can see in the haven, something real and concrete, to represent it. So, for example, if a tradition is something about surrender, a symbol could be a white flag. Or if our tradition is marriage, a symbol of marriage is rings. So it's like an artifact that we can interact with during play. So does everybody know which one they're doing a symbol for? Do I need to repeat that?
Yeah, can you repeat that? Sorry.
Yeah. So Jen, you're going to be doing a symbol for the government one.
Okay.
I'm going to be doing one for death, and Rich, you're going to be doing one for military. I'll give an example. So before people die, they're like marked with whether or not they're honorable, and so they're given the crest of.
Oh, sorry, you're muted.
Oh, sorry.
Hangouts sometimes auto mutes you when you're typing.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Cool. So the symbol that I'm adding is the crest of loyalty, and it's bestowed upon people who are honorable, and they know they're going to be cast over the fall when they die. It looks like a round blue stone with like kind of the foam from the waterfall coming up the bottom of it. So it's
neat.
like blue on the top and white on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned horses with the grassy fields, and we talked about raiding. So I think it would be interesting if the symbol for the military are the sabers, the riding sabers carried by those raiders who go out and raid the neighboring city-states.
Cool. Awesome. Move it down.
For the government, I'm thinking that the people who serve in the military get some sort of, I don't know that I want to say like jewelry. I don't know if it's like a pin medal or like a cuff bracelet or something. I don't know. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Cool. So like military have a. Do you want to do a cuff or like a bracelet? What do you think?
Let's do like a leather cuff that has like a symbol stamped in it for the state.
That's cool.
What is our state symbol?
I feel like it has like it's at the backdrop is the waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe like tall grass at the top.
Cool. Yeah. And I want to retcon my description of the crest of loyalty. The stone is actually like an inky painting. It's all black and white.
Oh, cool. Neat.
Put that back in. And when you play this not on the internet, usually people do a little doodle with their symbol. It was pretty fun. Cool. We're going to do that one more time. So all of these categories that we used are again unlocked. We just can't each do the same one in the same round. Or you're welcome to pick a different one, whatever you feel. Ooh, I'm going to pick economics. We don't trade with other states.
Cool. Why would we? We're way better than them.
I think we don't import, we do export.
Okay.
Wow, so there's no market then.
We have our own internal market, but no, not from others. Not unless it's, things that we plunder.
Do you have a "Don't Panic" tattoo?
I do.
That is awesome.
Mm,
um,
I think for we have a tradition of art, similar to the sort of Japanese woodcuts with like the brush strokes of ink and stuff.
art. Cool. Is this something that's very common, or is it like a very high art?
I think that there's probably a really small number of people who do it. There and like the government is like their patron or whatever. Like do it like officially. But I feel like it's probably pretty common for people to aspire to that.
Cool.
Sorry, I'm just trying to. The architecture is the one that's calling to me, but I have this mix of it's Renaissance, but then this sounds like a bit of a horse culture with no centralized market. So I'm confusing myself. I think I'm overthinking it. Well, entertainment would be interesting. So entertainment. I want to tie it to loyalty somehow because that's our flaw. Any suggestions?
Don't overthink it. Yeah, just go with what pops out to you first.
Okay. Circle back to architecture then. I think that all of the houses, there's nothing over 2 stories. Everything's kind of low to the ground, just because they were from a very mobile culture. Maybe they were raiders and people who lived in tents, but eventually settled on one place as technology increased, and so they have this spot that's near the waterfall. So I don't.
Cool.
Makes any sense, but I'll stop talking. Right. Low round houses, similar to tents up there.
Cool. Awesome. So we're going to do the same thing, adding a symbol, but the opposite direction. So now I'm going to do Rich's, Jen, you're going to do mine, and Rich, you're going to do Jen's.
So for the wood cutting, I think maybe it's I imagine that you've got like a chisel and a hammer. Maybe that they're almost like symbols of status handed down from generation to generation.
Cool, yeah.
I think for economics, I actually want the symbol to be like a forge, because I think that we take a lot of other, states or cities' coins, and we like melt them down and turn them into our coins, which we don't distribute to other places.
Cool. Can you say that one more time?
Sure. So I feel like I want it to be a forge.
Yeah.
That we would like melt down the coins that other places pay us for our things, and we would we melt down the metal and make our own currency. But like our currency doesn't travel outside of our city-state.
Yeah. Cool. Got it. For the houses, I'm kind of going to loop it back to government a little bit. So where the door is placed is an indication of whether it's a citizen or a civilian house. So those who are part of the military, their door faces towards the outside of the city. And if you are a civilian, your door is facing towards the center of the city.
That's really interesting. I like that.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So let's go through these again, and let's just like pause on each one and see if we have any clarifying questions or if we want to add anything to them in this like little second pass. So we have military. We raid neighboring city-states for gold and materials. The symbol for that is the riding sabers carried by the cavalry who raid the neighboring city-states. And I have a question about this actually. How often do you think we raid?
I think often. I think that
Yeah.
it's maybe it's a joke that they're not always raiding, but there are entire troops that are constantly out in a way,
Yeah.
showing their loyalty by getting more goods.
Do we have to raid so much because our own land is like mineral poor, or is it just a matter of glory and honor?
We could tie it to the books,
Oh,
perhaps.
yeah.
Well, I mean, if we have grasslands, we don't necessarily have trees to make paper with.
Mm-hmm. So we go on these big raiding expeditions for
trees.
wood for the sake of literature.
That is really weird.
Oh my God, we're raiding librarians.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, we need materials, but I think there's also like this notion of we're better than them. So of course we're gonna go destroy them. Cool. Are we feeling pretty set on the military one?
Yep.
Yeah,
Cool.
it works.
So death, those who die after an honorable life have their bodies cast over the fall. Before they die, they get a crest of loyalty. Do you think if they become dishonorable between the time they get their crest and the time they die, the crest would be taken away? Or do you think that's like a permanent thing?
I feel like the state has the like the ability to take it away, but they only do that in like as a result of like treason or something like practically unthinkable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. It has to be seriously, seriously bad, so it's pretty much never going to happen.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's never going to happen. So government, those who serve in the military are citizens, all the rest are civilians. The military have a leather cup with a symbol of the state, which is the waterfall and grass. How does someone choose to become in the military? What's the process for that?
Is it do you choose to join the military, or you choose not to join the military?
Yeah. So is it like a choice, or is it something that you're like a caste that you're born into, or?
I think there should always be an opportunity to join, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's an assumption that you're going to get your opportunity unless you're physically or mentally infirm. And you can choose to remain a civilian, but it's kind of assumed that you're going to join the military because we've got a lot of raids we need to do for books.
Cool. Sorry about the knocking. I think my neighbor is hammering something.
Aha.
So hopefully that stops soon. Okay, economics, we don't trade with other city-states, and we have a forge where we melt down all the coins of other realms and use that to make our own currency, which never leaves. And about the central market, Rich, I think we could have like a market square where we do like internal trading, and then I guess we would also trade some of the stuff we get from other places.
Okay. Sure.
That sound good? Cool. We have art, wood cuttings. We have the very fancy wood cuttings that you wash with ink, and those are like a high status. It's like a high status profession. The chisel and hammer are a status symbol that are passed down through generations. Cool. And then we have architecture, low round houses similar to the tents of their forefathers and mothers. And the door orientation shows whether the house belongs to a military person or a civilian person. Cool. Are you feeling pretty settled on that? Cool. So now we got to think of a little name for our little haven. What do we call ourselves? What's our kingdom called? This is always the hardest part.
Right?
Should we call it something like where you talked about Discworld and maybe it's World's Edge or Edgetown or I don't know. Just trying to get things started.
Yeah, no, that's great. The precipice, the cliffs.
I kind of like Precipice.
Yeah, I do too.
Precipice?
Yeah.
Just precipice or the precipice?
Just Precipice.
Okay, and is that how you spell it?
Oh, I was not looking. Yes.
Maybe, yeah? Okay, cool.
Pretty sure.
Whoops. Too big.
Yes, that is
Cool.
it.
Cool. Okay, great. We've made our world. Woohoo! Let's make some characters. Okay, so we're going to make 3 characters, and the characters are going to rotate. We're going to take turns playing each character. There are 3 characters, but there are also 3 roles. So I'm going to do a little overview of each of the characters, and then we'll make them together one by one, and then we'll choose who's going to play what and start role-playing. So we have the hero. The hero tries to save the haven from the flaw. They're the main character. The story's about them and about their failure to save Precipice. We have the fallen. The fallen represents the people who try to corrupt Precipice towards loyalty. They try to maintain the status quo. They're our main antagonist. And then we have the pillar. The pillar represents just the general people in the haven. They accept Precipice for the way that it is. They're content with loyalty, and they're content with all of the traditions. They're like our normal person. Okay? So let's create the hero first. So the hero recognizes the problems in the haven and tries to fix them. They show how the flaw is harmful, and they fight against it. So first we're going to give them a role, a position or occupation that relates to one of the traditions. So let's look at the traditions and choose one that we want the hero to have a role that relates to. So it looks like they could be like a raider, they could be someone who like judges honorableness, they could be a civilian, someone in the market, artist.
What are you thinking, Jen?
I feel like maybe the military makes the most sense to me because they can kind of see what's going on outside the town and be like, well, maybe other people have ideas too.
Yeah. Does that sound good to you, Rich?
They have ideas. Yeah, that sounds great. I just didn't want to go military all over again, so I'm glad someone else suggested it. Because the idea of someone who sees the inherent problems in the society by traveling out and seeing other beings, experiencing other cultures makes sense. So
totally. So what would like the word for soldier be? What would they call themselves? Would they call themselves like the riders or like raiders? You have an idea?
That's dumb. It's
what
just
is it?
It's alliteration, the precipice procurement. But I like riders.
Rider? Okay. Okay, cool. Now we're going to give them a rebellion. So choose a tradition that the hero disagrees with, and why do they disagree with it? Or they have some sort of like opposition to it. Maybe. It'd be interesting to see them have like a disagreement with the caste system.
Yeah, that
It'd
seems
also be
the most.
interesting to do the trade. It'd also be interesting.
I agree.
Do you have
I
any
like the
questions?
caste system. I feel like maybe they had somebody in their family who didn't join the military, and got to see what that was like.
Cool. Who was it that didn't join the military?
I think like a cousin, maybe, or like an aunt or uncle.
Mm-hmm. I like the idea of them being in the same kind of age bracket.
Cool.
It's your cousin. Okay, cool. And then let's just talk briefly about their social identity, so gender, sexuality, physical appearance, that kind of thing.
I think young, just for an age bracket to kind of kick it off, makes sense to me. It seems like.
I think it's more interesting to me if it's a girl rather than a guy, but that's just me.
Works.
I see. Cool. And is she tied down in any romantic relationships, or is she a free rider?
I know we have the cousin thing, but it, wouldn't hurt if there was some kind of Romeo and Juliet thing too. Another culture and someone that she's interested in.
Oh.
What if she falls in love with somebody from another state? Dun dun dun.
Yep, totally Romeo and
Do we want to
Juliet.
have that as a? Do we want to have that as something that we explore during? If that's something that we know we want to be there, why don't we have it like already established? So she has a lover in far off lands. I mean, like a 20-minute horse ride away. Okay, cool. And let's give her a name. One day I'm going to come up with the perfect system for naming people. It's going to take 5 seconds and be so easy. Do you have the book of names?
I do have a book of names. I'm going to randomly open to Pseudo-English.
Great.
Because that one amuses me the most. And I also have a bookmark because I keep going there. Thank you, Jason Morningstar, for coming up with this one.
Woohoo!
This is like the best game supplement ever.
Roll a 20-sided for me, Jen.
Okie dokie, 20-sided. Please hold while it loads. 15.
15. All right. We have two choices. Counter or Campbell?
Campbell.
Cambel.
Great. It's super pseudo-English. Awesome.
Oh.
Okay. We have our hero. We're going to find out whatever more we need to find out about them when we play. Next, we're going to make the Fallen. The Fallen is a character who actively advocates for loyalty and promotes loyalty in both Campbell and in the Haven. They have a relationship to the hero, and they kind of like represent all of the people, or many of the people in the Haven who are like gung-ho loyalty. So let's give them a role, same sort of thing. It can be the same role or it can be a different role.
I kind of like the idea of it being somebody who has like the power to bestow a crest of loyalty.
Yeah. Cool. So like is that a like civic position or is that a position? Well, I guess all the civic positions are military anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Cool. So.
And I feel like it's such an important thing. Like it's kind of like it's encompassed in the military, but it's not like the highest person in the military gets to do that. Like they specifically, maybe look for certain characteristics in people or whatever. So like you can be a sort of judge or whatever and be younger. You don't have to be like super old or whatever.
Yeah, but they have like a certain like real passion for the state.
Yeah.
You can tell
Mm-hmm.
that they're so loyal.
Mm-hmm.
Treason is the last thing in their mind. Okay. So they're a judge of character.
Mm.
Ugh. Sounds awful. Cool. Next, let's define the relationship between the fallen and the hero. So we can choose if they're family, friend, guardian, leader, or lover.
I like guardian.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Then
So
there are
are
more stakes when Campbell is turning against.
yeah. So is this like a guardian in the home, or like a guardian? Is Campbell like the fallen squire?
Oh, so did the judge of character not bestow a crest of loyalty on someone that Campbell wanted them to?
Totally. Yeah, I guess I'm wondering if they're like a professional guardian or like a personal guardian.
Oh, I was thinking, like, perhaps Campbell. Well, how much family does Campbell have? But could
She has a cousin. She has a cousin, excuse me.
so maybe Campbell's. Oh God, it's like the orphan trick. I don't know. I was thinking that perhaps this guardian was an aunt who ended up having to raise Campbell, or uncle.
Yeah.
Both parents died on raids.
Yeah. Which is an honorable way to die.
Totally honorable. Ooh, but maybe the fallen didn't give one of those parents the crest.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and like, what do they do with the bodies if they die outside of the city-state? Like, right? Do they?
They're never recovered?
Yeah.
They clearly weren't honorable enough to deserve a burial in the falls.
Buried in the earth. Poor Campbell.
Cool. So we'll do your uncle because that's our next step, actually. So we can just decide now.
I'm sorry. What are we deciding now?
I'm sorry. So now we're going to do the identity thing again. So gender, age, demographics.
Jen, were you thinking it's aunt or uncle or?
I have no strong preference. I'm
Uncle,
open.
yeah, uncle makes me think of like Baron Harkonnen for some reason. So we'll get into
Wow. Nothing makes me think of Baron Harkonnen, so.
It's on my mind. So I mean, she's obviously older. I kind of think she's like this very strong, stern-looking woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting like a Kathy Bates stern.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's give her a name.
All right, roll me a 20-sided die, Jen. Going to a different list here.
17.
17. Our choices are, I don't know if this one, but Blodwyn or Adara. Yep, Blodwyn or Adara.
I definitely like Adara better.
Yeah, let's do that. How do you spell it?
Adara. Birdcatcher. It's Arthurian.
Ooh, cool. Yeah, and I'm assuming that the cousin from the hero character sheet is the aunt's child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you want that to be a? Now I'm thinking in Dune language. Do you want it to be a boy child?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Okay, and next we're going to make the pillar. pillar of the community. Okay, so the pillar is a normal person in the haven. They're content to live in the society that they were born into. Change is frightening and unacceptable. Let's give them a roll.
I think maybe like a civilian artist?
Yeah.
I was also thinking artist.
Ditto. Okay. Are they like a well-known artist?
Yeah, maybe it's a well-known artist that exports some of their art, but not too much because that's other cultures. We'll just steal it back anyway.
Yeah. Cool. And what's their relationship to Campbell? Again, we can choose family, friend, guardian, leader, or lover.
Maybe they see this as an older character, perhaps a bit of a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like their military leader, their captain or whatever.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, we can go there, but I'd said civilian. I was thinking this was
okay.
non-military.
Oh, yeah, you did say that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We could switch it. That's what I started off with.
I'm trying to think of how they could be a leader in a non-military sense. Like, what does that look like for Campbell's civilian life?
Yeah, I mean, leader is a stretch. I was just kind of grooving off of the list you gave. I mean, it could be an influencer. It could be.
I was gonna say like Campbell could have like been the apprentice or something. Like Campbell's trying to like learn the art or whatever.
Cool. Multi-class. Okay. So they're like a mentor, art mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cameron realized that she was just not making levels fast enough, so she focused on one.
It's wise. It's hard to do. Would have made the story interesting, but
she's like a
gotta do what's best for the party.
6/2. She's like a level 2 woodcutter. Not very.
Cool. Oh, that gives us a good little angle to go on. Cool. And then, so Rich, you said a little older.
Yeah, I think a little older. Never served in the military though. Very, very happy with the way things are.
Sorry?
Never served in the military. Happy with fine with the door facing inside. That's fine.
Yeah, it's cool.
Not a problem.
Cool. Do we want to do some gender parity? Make this one a man?
Yeah.
Cool. And what does he look like?
I think since you think most people on horses, like it makes me think of people who are a little bit. Oh no, I don't know. Just the imagery. They're like a big shaggy beard. Like definitely somebody who doesn't look like they jump on a horse anytime soon.
Yeah. So kind of soft and shaggy.
Yeah.
Cool. Beauteous. All right, and let's give him a name.
All right. No die rolling because there are two I like, so I'll leave this up. Killian or Maddox?
I think Killian a type of beer.
It's also a Celtic name on this list that I like.
It's an Irish beer.
Yes, I think it is.
What was the other one?
Maddox, Maddox.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Okay. That's character creation. How are we feeling? I don't know how these things usually work. Do you usually take a little break or go on? We're good? Got all the energy?
I think we're good.
Yeah. All right, awesome. So let's see. Like I said, we're going to rotate characters, but we should choose who wants to play the hero first. And for the sake of demonstrating some things, I think I'm going to have Rich, if you're comfortable, would you play the hero first?
Sure, I can pull that off.
Cool. So you're going
Luckily, I
to be
shaved recently, you know. 'Cause...
And then, Jen, you're going to be the fallen first, and I'm going to be, no, sorry, you're going to be the pillar first, and I'm going to be the fallen. Let me make sure that's right. I'm very, like, physically minded, so it's hard for me to visualize this. Yes, that's right. So Jen, you're the pillar, I'm the fallen. Okay. The first thing we do during role-playing is create a crisis. So things start out going bad. The pillar is the first, the pillar creates a crisis every 2 scenes. So first, Jen, you're going to look at that reference sheet I gave you and choose, so first you'll choose a tradition and then describe a crisis that's affecting it. So a crisis is something like an accident, an assassination, a crackdown, an invention, something that disrupts the normal flow of life. So first tell us the tradition that you chose and then describe a crisis that's affecting it. Crises are generated inside the haven. They aren't thrust upon the haven by outside forces. So something like an invasion or a natural disaster is not a crisis because it didn't start with us. But like a bad reaction to an invasion or, yeah, that sort of thing counts.
I think I'm going to go with the military tradition, and our crisis is famine.
Oh no. So set the stage. What's going on?
So I feel like we have a certain number of like staples or whatever that we grow or fish or whatever, but that we need certain other things in our diet from other places, and that's part of the reason why we raid. And I think maybe like the one main place had like a big fire in a barn or something, like in a granary or something, and so there's not some of this food to steal, and so the riders have to come back basically empty-handed.
Okay, awesome. So that's our crisis. Next, the fallen is going to frame a scene, and then the hero is going to frame a scene. So first I'll frame. When you frame a scene, every scene is about the hero, so I'm going to say where the hero is, what's generally going on, who's there. Jen, you and I can play our characters, the fallen or the pillar, or we can also play NPCs. Anything goes. When we're role-playing, it's just kind of like your basic role-playing stuff. Say what you're doing, say what you're thinking. Don't be afraid to go big. We also have 3 phrases that we can use when we're playing to kind of like propel the action. So on that reference, did I put on the reference? No.
It's under the characters.
Oh yeah, thank you, under the character sheets. Okay, so if you want to know what happens due to your action or someone else's action, you can ask what comes of it. So like for instance, if I go into the Senate chamber with my guns blazing, I can ask you what comes of it, and you can tell me whether I kill everyone or not, whatever. You can ask what lies beneath to find out what another character is thinking or feeling. And then the fallen can add a price or consequence to the hero's action but you did not foresee. And I'll try to demonstrate that if the opportunity arises. Any questions about that before we dive in?
I'm good.
We'll kind of like get the hang of it as we go. It usually takes a scene or 2 to get into the flow. So I'm going to frame a scene, and I think this is Campbell coming home after the unsuccessful raid to the house that she lives in with Adara, and the cousin. We should name the cousin.
Dang it! Just put up the name.
We always have more NPCs. You should never put the name book away.
Well, that's probably factual. All right, roll me a d20.
Okay. 15. I'm going to re-roll that because I feel like we did that one already.
Oh, that was for female.
Or
so
we do it differently. Okay.
All right. We have Wester, or we have Mortio.
Wester.
Yeah.
Wester. There you go.
Wester. Okay. So there's Wester, Adara, and Campbell. Campbell just coming in the door after an unsuccessful raid. So I'll go ahead and play on the phone, so I'll play Adara. Do you want to play Wester, Jen?
Sure.
Cool. And let's see, did I cover everything I need to say? Yep, so I said where the hero was, who else was there, and what's happening. Okay. Cool. I think when Campbell's coming in, Adara is like by the door, ready to take his saber to be sharpened.
Oh, good. Then
She says, good rating.
no. She undoes the buckle for her saber belt and hands that to her aunt. Not at all. The granary was destroyed.
I think she snatches it a little bit with like a little bit of frustration in her countenance. Oh, the granary was burnt.
Yes. To spite us, I think.
I see. You know, when I was a young raider, we would have some retaliation for acts like that. It would be a glorious day.
I'm sure we can plan that later. We lost Horace.
Your horse?
No, Horace.
Horace. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I realized as I said that was a bad name. I need to draw a bath. I need to get the dust from the city off of me.
Wester, draw a bath for your cousin.
I don't understand. Why would they have burned their own granary? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, they're foreigners, right? So.
But they still need to eat.
All I saw was that the granary was burning. It doesn't matter. We lost. We will raid them again. We'll just have to get more horses. I'm sorry.
Don't mind your cousin Campbell. He has never been a warrior and cannot understand the intricacies of raiding.
Right, Wester. You don't understand. Things happen when you're out there. Get twisted up sometimes, and well, we'll raid again. We'll go tomorrow. I just need to rest today.
What lies beneath? Is Campbell feeling like eager to raid again, or?
Campbell was not part of the raid because she was visiting someone.
I love it.
Saw the silo burning, and then rushed to join the cavalry, and they were already being routed. So,
you will have glorious vengeance upon the city tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely.
I think I'll raid with you. And she takes her saber from the wall. Says, yes, it would be good to let my blade taste blood again.
Campbell walks over. She kind of puts her hand on the saber to keep it on the wall. No, Adara, you have a different function. You're here to judge. You can't.
My function is always to serve Precipice.
Yes.
And I feel called to serve in this way.
I don't need you to come fight my battles. I will take care of this, okay, Adara? I will get us food. Please.
And I think Adara looks at Campbell like she's showing a little bit more authority, and she really respects that. She puts her hand on her shoulder, says, yes, I can see that you can handle it.
relaxes a little bit. And she'll thank you. Is there food? Starving.
Yes, after your bath, we'll have something on the table.
Cool. And then Campbell will try to duck out of that room as quickly as possible.
Cool. I think that's a scene. That sounds like a good closing point. Cool. Okay. So we're going to keep our characters for one more scene. This time, Campbell frames. So Rich, tell us where Campbell is, what she's doing, who else is there, and kind of like set the stage, and then we'll. Okay.
I think that we pick up a little bit later in the evening. It's obvious that she's eaten, changed into more comfortable clothes, and Campbell's in her room, and she's writing a letter to her lover because she's gonna have to go raiding tomorrow, and I think Wester comes in on her if he catches the letter writing.
Do you want to take Wester again, Jen?
Sure.
Cool.
Campbell, I brought you some more food.
Oh.
What are you doing? Who are you writing? Are you drawing?
Writing up some orders for tomorrow.
Oh. What sort of orders?
For the you wouldn't understand. What, you brought some more food?
And I've got like a plate of bread or something.
Okay. What are you going to serve?
I thought you remember I already made that choice.
Well, you can make a different choice.
I thought you supported me, Campbell. I mean, it's not my calling. I love Precipice, but I'm drawn to something else.
Okay, well, I understand. Okay. She kind of folds up the papers again and slides it into a book.
Tell me about today. What did you see? What city did you go to?
We went to Woods Reach. There's a lot of wood there, and they're right on the edge of a beautiful farmland. And we thought that it would be as easy as our forefathers, that we've always raided them. I've been there many times. But they were ready for us, I guess. I don't know. I got lost from the other riders for a while.
Oh. What did you do? Do you normally separate from them?
Well, no, not normally. Sometimes we go our own path. You know.
Oh, well, what did you do today?
She looks towards the door.
I mean, is Campbell obviously trying to avoid showing that she's thinking about her lover, or is that kind of...
I think she's on the edge of saying something.
Yeah.
Actually. She's just making sure that Adara can't hear. There's someone there at Boar's Edge.
Someone like who?
Someone that I've met on a few other raids.
Okay. Why would you care about them? They don't live here.
No, and I guess they never will. I guess it doesn't matter. But I was with them when whatever happened to the silo happened. I don't really know what went wrong. Don't tell your mother, okay?
I'm going to add a but you did not foresee here. By telling Wester doesn't report to his mother, but does report to your commanding officer.
I was gonna say, yeah, Wester. No, I lied. Never mind. I'm mixing up my characters again. I will stop. I like it, Captain.
Thanks for the bread. It's very thoughtful. We'll get more tomorrow.
Okay. Well, safe rating.
Thank you. She turns around. It's back to her writing.
Cool.
It's a scene.
Sounds like a scene? Yeah, it sounds like a scene. Cool. Awesome. Haha. Fun stuff. All right. Now we're going to do the one part that I couldn't figure out how to make with our technical devices. This is where we track our downfall. We see how close we are to precipices, going over the precipice, as it were. So I'm drawing a little triangle, little downward triangle, and I'm labeling it calm, conflict, and collapse. Like that. And pillar, after two scenes, the pillar decides what level we're at now. And the pillar shades down from the top. You can shade in any amount that you want, but once you get past calm, you need to fill in like the entire bit that's calm, and then we can't go back. When we get to this very end, if we're going to be playing a full game, which we probably won't get to the very end, that's when we would see the Haven. Ooh. Yeah. So Jen, where are you thinking we are right now? And I'll shade in for us.
I think I would shade in about maybe half of the calm level. We are hungry folk.
Yeah, there's some problems going on. Cool. So we're at like right there now. Sorry, cool. I did a little more than half, but okay. All right, cool. Now we're going to rotate our character sheets. But instead of doing that, I'm going to tell you who you're playing next. So I'm playing the pillar next. Rich, you're playing the fallen next, and Jen, you're playing the hero next.
Okay.
Okay. So the characters rotate to the left, and scene framing rotates to the right, and it makes this cool double spiral thing that's really neat if you see it when it's played in person, but it's a little weirder online. This might also be a helpful thing for the guys watching at home if we put the characters that we're playing underneath our names, or our roles underneath our names while we're playing. And so, does that show up?
You have to turn it off and back on.
Okay, thank you. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to narrate.
Am I the hero or am I the fallen?
Sorry, you are the hero.
Okay.
Yeah, Rich is the fallen and I'm the pillar now. I like the way you have it, Rich, with your name down below. Okay, cool. Traditions.
Okay, and then so the who does the scene framing this time? And
so I'm going to do a crisis, and then Rich, you're going to frame the first scene, and Jen's going to frame the second scene. So I think that I'm going to make a crisis with the wood cuttings. On a previous raid, some like rotating like a hand cranked press was taken, and now some artists have finally figured out that this could be used to really quickly make wood cuttings instead of, I think traditionally, like we carve out one block, make one painting, and then the block is set aside. Now people are being able to crank out multiple pieces of art at a time. So it's disrupting the status of art as like something difficult to perform. Now anybody who has one of these little machines can make very nice looking art, but not skilled to make. Okay. So Rich, you'll frame the first scene. And again, every scene has to be about the hero.
Right. What if some time has passed, right? So the famine has come, and there's still some stressors there, but this is a few months later, and Campbell is part of a small group that is protecting a few wagons that are being taken to Forest Edge, and they've got some of these pieces of art that have just been churned out, right? So they're trying to put some kind of spin or crisis on it, but I was we'll pick up with that scene, and of course they're headed to Forest Edge where they have raided before, and also where Campbell's person she's interested in is there. So I think, she's supposed to lead this. So there are four members of the cavalry, the four riders that are supposed to protect this pair of wagons. Is that enough of a setup?
Well, like who else is who are the people that are there?
Wester's one of them. Why not? Right?
Oh.
Wester's been pulled into helping out.
Cool. Just to like help out sell things.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
To help out sell things.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm thinking they've got just quite a few of this new art, right? I was trying to tie that into the crisis, and this is,
Cool. I think that gives us a good jumping off point. I'll go ahead and take Wester if that's okay.
Sure.
Cool.
So I'm sorry. Why are we taking the art to this other place? We're selling it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Does Campbell know that Wester tattled?
I don't know. Did the captain do or say anything?
Yeah, I think you were disciplined.
Okay, so then I feel like Campbell figured it out.
Yeah. Okay.
So I feel like things are probably tense between them now.
Yeah. So I think Wester rides up to Campbell's side and is like trying to be friendly. Because it's a beautiful sun coming off these hills today.
Yes, it's a lovely place. Not making eye contact at all.
What do you think of the new prince? And he kind of like gestures back with his thumb and kind of makes like a grimace.
He's going to have a hard time living up to our former leader.
Oh, sorry, the prince of the art prince.
The prince. I was like, okay, new person.
Horace.
Yay. New prince. I think that we're doing what needs to be done with them. I don't think they have a place in this city.
That's true. Yeah. It does feel kind of like, I don't know, it feels wrong to be using their technology, you know? Like, ours is so much better.
Well, and they're all the same.
I know.
They're supposed to be unique. There's no life
Right?
to it if they're all the same.
Yeah. And I think their conversation is kind of like getting back to normal pace in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wester kind of like pauses awkwardly. Hey, I'm sorry about, you know. I know you were trusting me with a secret, but, and I'm not a military person, but I mean my home comes first.
I understand that it's an unconventional idea to make friends with someone outside of the city.
And he kind of like raises his eyebrows at unconventional, like, that's an understatement. Are you going to visit?
I would like to. The captain had sort of put someone on me to watch me for a while, and they wouldn't even let me come to this town. So,
You know, it can only end in heartbreak.
why do you say that?
Well, they could never come to Precipice. You would never leave. They'll find someone else.
What if they could come to Precipice? What if I could leave? Why do things always have to be the same?
If they couldn't come to Precipice.
I mean, there are other places that have other traditions and ways of living, and maybe we have something to learn from.
You know, he gives a big laugh and is like, that's funny, Campbell.
Can you honestly not conceive of anything outside of Precipice?
I mean, I can conceive of things outside of Precipice. Yes, we're here, and he sort of gestures out towards the big hills and the city as we're approaching. But it's not. They have their ways, and we have our ways. And maybe their ways are fine for them, but not for you. You wouldn't know what to do. But besides, don't you owe it to our, you owe it to Precipice to serve it. And think of all it's done for you.
There's plenty of people in Precipice who have doubts or misgivings, and they are squashed and dishonored. And I feel like maybe says you.
And I think Wester in this moment is thinking of your mother who was not given the crest.
Okay. Did she not give enough to Precipice?
Yeah.
She died. And Adara would not give her the crest. What does one need to do to prove their loyalty to Precipice?
Well, they certainly don't need to be sleeping around with people from other towns. He kind of rides up in front.
I kind of think at that point, like, I would, what would I do? What would Campbell do? I think I would just sort of move my horse over and, like, put some distance in between us. Like, fine, this conversation is going nowhere.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Cool. That seems like a scene.
Yeah, that's nice.
Cool.
Kind
God,
of
Wester.
with a wide shot
Yeah.
with him pulling into the huge fort that's been built around the city now. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Cool.
That's me framing scene next, right?
Right.
Cool. I mean, I kind of want to see Campbell with her lover, but I kind of don't. I kind of want to see her in like facing the consequences of that, right?
Yeah.
So I actually think, the first time that Campbell comes back to Forest Edge, she does manage to sort of break away from the party and meet with her lover, and I actually think like Wester like catches them because he's trying to save his cousin, right, from ruining herself. And so the other guards or the other riders like bring the lover back to Precipice to sort of face punishment or something. Trying to think. No, I don't even think. No, they don't bring the lover back at all. They just bring Campbell back because why would they even care about the lover at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I want to see like a scene at the sort of city center government with Campbell facing maybe not like Adara directly, but she's on like a group of people or whatever. Possibly that includes Maddox.
I think Maddox is there as a character witness.
Cool. I like it.
So is this Adara like at the, I'm sorry, is this Campbell at the front of like a room of people?
I think there is like a sort of audience behind her, but then in front of her is I'm seeing like a Senate hearing, so there's like 5 people, like 5 government officials or whatever, seated kind of above her a little bit, listening to all these witnesses and judgments and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. I really see that.
Cool. I
think there's like a heckler behind you who just calls out, "Expel her." Exile, that's the word.
Exile. I think Campbell is like everybody. This was supposed to be formality, right? Like it was supposed to be a slap on the wrist. Like, okay, we just don't do that. Meeting adjourned. But Campbell is turning out to be like surprisingly, what's the word? Like reticent or whatever. Like she's just like, well, no, I'm gonna see this person, and you guys are just gonna have to deal with it. So I don't know who else maybe from the government would be there as far as like asking her questions or.
Yeah, so I think the person who, well, I think Adara would be a good questioner.
Cool.
Yeah.
She judges people's characters for a living.
Is that Rich?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I'll play here. Cool. Do we want to? Do we have enough? Do I just start with questioning?
Yeah, I think we're good. Good to go.
Since we've got ink, so she'll start reading from, like she's reading from a book, right? I'm doing hand gestures down here, but a book. She looks up. She's got her saber, of course. So yeah, when we pick up the scene, it picks up from her saber, and then I think Campbell doesn't have her saber, maybe. The reports, Campbell, are that you were with someone at Forest Edge. What do you say to this?
The reports are true.
And were you trying to gather information? Attempting to help with the trade? What was the purpose of this meeting?
I was going to see my lover.
Oh, yeah. Silence over the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Hecklers probably talking about expelling versus...
The people in the crowd just woke up. They thought it was going to be a super boring hearing, and now they're like, well, what?
Why would you do such a thing and bring dishonor to your house, your family?
Because I care about this person.
Why did you return here?
Because this is my home.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You have served. But now I don't think you should.
If I may interject, and Maddox, the older, shaggy man, steps up with his cane. He has, like, his hands are covered in ink because he's always working. If I could speak about Campbell, she's a young woman. I've known her throughout her youth, and she's always been of two minds of something. You know, she wanted to be in the military, but she also wanted to practice art. This is just normal young folly. I know in her heart of hearts she believes Precipice is better and knows that she could never be with someone from somewhere else. So come, Campbell, just renounce your affections and come to your senses.
I am already at my senses. I've seen outside of Precipice.
Well, yes, so have all who raid.
But
We see how superior we are.
I've found value and culture from other places that we could learn from here.
You're young, Campbell. You're young and you don't know how much there is here to learn.
I don't think that it's fair that my mother could die and still be considered dishonorable.
Oh, I see. So, Campbell, you're doing this because my sister did not receive an honor she didn't deserve. That's why you have decided to take a lover, and that's why...
She did deserve it. Just because she didn't make the choices you wanted her to make doesn't mean that she's not honorable. She gave her life for this place. And you left her to rot in the ground? How could you do that?
I'm sorry that all of the sacrifices I've made to help raise you have become fallow. So what will you do now? You can't continue this. You cannot continue to serve our people and go there. Like Maddox said, if you renounce this, then perhaps we can be lenient.
What is the point? I just become a mindless soldier like the rest of the riders, doing the city's bidding and hoping in my heart of hearts that one day I will be worthy of a crest bestowed on the whim of you, my aunt. Would you even ever be able to see past this? I could ride for the rest of my life, and it wouldn't make any difference at all. If my mother wasn't worthy of it, I certainly am not.
Maddox, you wish to speak?
Yes. Campbell, all we can do is try. Try to be our best selves. Try to be loyal to our families, to our beliefs. to our community. And he walks forward and tries to put a hand on her shoulder. Does she let him?
Yeah.
You deserve honor. And your death, which I hope will be a long, long way off, will be a glorious one.
I think
Make your choice wisely.
I think Campbell kind of shuts down then, and like she won't like vocally renounce it, but she's kind of like, well, fine, whatever, because she knows like she's not going to go move to this other town, right? So she kind of has to do what they're wanting her to do.
So what comes of it? Does she cut off her relationship to her lover?
I think so. Yeah. Oh, I'm sad.
But I'm the Fallen, right? No, I'm the Pillar.
Yeah.
No, I'm the Fallen. Yes.
No, do it.
Did not foresee that by cutting off all conversation with the lover that they came here.
Oh, snap.
So romantic. Cool. That sounds like a scene.
Neat.
Okay. I'm going to bring us right down to the line with conflict. I don't think we've seen... Well, we're going to go right over the line.
Cool. Over the line.
I think we're seeing people... I mean, that was a pretty public questioning of the way things are. And I think it's caused...
That's just not done, yeah.
Yeah. So we're right here now, just below the conflict line. Cool. So let's rotate again. So now I'm the hero. Rich, you're the pillar, and Jen, you're the fallen. Excuse me. Okay. Let's update our little ticker ticks. Oh, Campbell. Should we give our lover a name?
Yeah, I feel like this whole time I've been
gender identity
using gender-neutral pronouns.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those like dare type things. Or
yeah.
Who's gonna name? Who's gonna gender? Who's gonna give any details on the?
Well, I think we've been non-gendering so much that I want to keep the lover with they/them pronouns.
Cool.
That feels comfortable to me. It should have a non-Englishy sounding name because they're from a different place.
Right. Okay, let's I don't know, Roman sounds a little too prestigious. Let's see. Right. Please roll a d20.
15, which is the third time I've rolled 15 today.
Wow. That die is loaded.
Taishi. Taishi. And I chose a surname, so that way it is gender neutral.
Neat.
Cool. Excellent. Okay. So Pillar, that's you now, Rich. Give us a crisis. And this, I think, because of time, this will be our last rotation. So we won't get to the very end, but we'll each have a chance to play each character.
Very cool. I think the situation is that Forest Edge is tired of getting raided, and they have mounted up many machines of war and have decided to take the fight to Precipice. And Taishi has come ahead of them to try to warn their lover.
Wow. Okay. Maybe we'll get to the end. We'll see.
Yeah.
Cool.
I just colored in a lot more triangle. That's all I'm saying. Conflict, right? So I guess a conflict.
Cool. Jenn, frame us up a scene.
Okay. So Taishi comes to the city, and that's a big deal because a foreigner is at the gates.
Yeah.
And I think that I want to see at the gates, I want to see this play out. So presumably there's like 2 guards, and I feel like they're more like junior guards because the warriors, the riders go out and do the raiding, and the in-training guards are the ones that guard the gates that nobody else comes to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wait, what do we do? There's
right?
someone out there.
Exactly. Well, yeah. So there's two guards, and then Campbell and Taishi comes in.
Cool. So is Campbell just walking by, or?
That's a good question.
Did Campbell get a letter preceding her arrival?
No, I don't think Campbell got a letter at all. I think that Taishi said the name, and then somebody like ran and got Campbell because like what are we doing? Nobody has any idea on the protocol here.
Yeah. Cool. So I'll be a guard, and then do you want to be Taishi?
Sure.
Cool. So interesting character note. When you are playing, so you're the Fallen right now. So any NPCs that you play, you should play them as the Fallen. So they are about loyalty, but maybe loyalty in a little bit of a different way.
Okay.
For this character.
Wait, who? So
I'm random guard.
Are you? I thought you were the hero. So
I am the hero. I'm so sorry. Oh, my brain.
I'll be random guard.
You're random guard. I'm the hero. Bleh. Okay. I came as fast as I could. Who is asking for me? I think at that point she turns and sees Taishi, and the color goes from her face.
We were going to kill them, but then they said your name.
No, don't kill them. And then a blush comes in, and she says to the guard, I can handle this. Please let them come with me.
Is this the one?
I think
I heard.
She sort of like gestures with her head, like, come here, get away from these guys.
And Taishi kind of looks like back and forth because this is very weird. But then I'll get the gist and kind of try and come with you.
Do they look like kind of bedraggled from their fast?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Very mussed up hair and like a robe that's all, dusty and stuff.
So Campbell is going to try to take their hand and walk back a little bit. Are the guards cool with this?
Well, yes. If they're watching.
Yeah. Come with me. I think I can find someplace safe for us.
Oh, okay.
What are you doing here?
I came to see you. I haven't heard from you.
And she looks a little ashamed. Yes, that was discourteous of me. Keep your head down. They're kind of like passing through houses,
and it's
making their way to Maddox's
It's hard for me to keep my head down because I'm in freaking precipice, right?
Yeah.
People don't go in this city who are not from here. So
do they hear like rumors in Forest Edge? Are there like legends of what precipice is like?
Totally.
Is it supposed to be like what image do they have of?
I mean, I feel like there's rumors about like the waterfall, but perhaps maybe Taishi was expecting like taller buildings, and So I think also like it's weird, right? Because Forest Edge, right? They raid us, but then they come and sell us art.
Yeah.
So these people they're kind of very eccentric, and so this is a very weird place to visit. So I think I'm trying to keep my head down and just completely failing at that thing.
Yeah. So we're making our way to Maddox's house because there's no way that I can take you back to Adara's house.
Yeah.
And this is the only other place I could think of. So when we get there, I say, Taishi, wait out here for just a moment.
All right.
And she lets go of their hand a little slower than maybe she should, but they have a little lingering moment. And then she goes inside and looks around. Is Maddox in?
Well, yeah, of course Maddox is in. Let's say he's...
What?
Oh, if this is cool. Like, he's got this older woman, and he's doing Maori tattoo on her.
Cool. Maddox,
Yes?
I need you. I need your help.
Oh, excuse me. And he puts the little chisel and the hammer to the side and comes over with you. What is it?
Can you keep me safe? Can you keep one I care about safe? I've always looked to you as a friend, and I need your friendship at this moment.
What do you mean, keep someone? Wester? Is Wester in trouble?
No. Does Taishi like sort of peek in at this moment?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Is that...
They came looking for help. Actually, I don't know why they came. We haven't talked about it yet. Taishi, come in. This is Maddox. He's a friend.
It's nice to meet you. I came for you, Campbell. How could you not know that? I came for you.
Well, it's not...
This is the one?
Yes. You see, Taishi, I didn't come to see you because, well, the whole of Precipice knows about you now. It's been forbidden.
Oh.
They say we're too different. And maybe they're right.
Oh.
She looks down, ashamed of saying that.
Taishi, I'm sure you are very nice, but you should go. This is not right. You could cause yourself a great deal of danger. Campbell, you should take them away. That would be wise.
I came all the way here for you. Did you not care for me the way that you said?
No, I care for you that way and more. You're my world, Taishi. And she kind of looks like her whole body slumps. Like she's feeling a lot of heartbreak right now. And her hand finds Taishi's, and I think she gives a little squeeze and kind of starts to feel stronger. It's like, yes, you are my world. Stay. We'll change their minds.
If you care, you should let Taishi go. Taishi will only bring misery here. This is not a place for you, Taishi. I'm sorry.
I don't care. My place is with Campbell.
Children. Precipice has been this way for generations. It will be this way for generations more, till the waters flow no longer, until the ink has dried. This is how we live. Perhaps, Campbell, you should go with Taishi. Forest Edge could use a strong woman like you, but do not break what we have.
What we have is already broken if it doesn't allow for the love between two people. And she takes off her saber and drops it on the ground, takes Taishi's hand, and walks out the door.
Wow. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, and let's have one final scene. I get to frame. Woohoo! Let's see. So the raiding party is coming up. No, they're at the gates. They've torn down the gates.
Oh, wow. It's just
And
awesome because Taishi's just the harbinger of the attack.
yeah, yeah.
The guards were busy talking, like, did you
Yeah.
see that? That was insane! And what's that over there? I don't know. Like a huge wooden battering ram. Not good.
Yeah. What do I want to be happening? So Campbell and Taishi and this is only just shortly after. Campbell and Taishi are walking at the waterfall. Taishi wanted to see the waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at some point Adara is going to come and ask that Campbell fight to defend the city.
Nice.
Yeah, but as we open up, like we, the audience, see in the background behind our turned backs that the fires are starting. But before Campbell and Taishi is just the beautiful panorama of the spray coming off of the waterfall in the endless horizon beyond.
Am I playing Adara?
Yes, you are. You can also play Taishi if you want, but it makes sense to give that to Rich.
Oh,
so that you're not role-playing with yourself.
Okay, so I'm Taishi now? Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yay. This.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Words can't describe it. I've read it in your books, but...
No, words can't describe it. I love to come out here and just listen to the rush of the water. It drowns out every other noise. You just be alone with your thoughts.
Then who could you talk
to? She smiles. Did I ever tell you that I wanted to be an artist also?
No. What?
Yeah.
What do you make?
Now that I'm not a writer, maybe I'll pursue it. Wood carvings, you know. The traditional subject is the waterfall, the horses, burning cities. But I don't know. Maybe I'll do some portraits.
That sounds great. I would love to see your art.
Yeah.
I'd love to see you do something that doesn't make you so upset. I don't understand your people. I'm glad that you're different.
Well, they're not so bad. A little closed-minded, maybe. Loyal to a fault.
I think at this point, Adara walks up, because that seems like good timing.
Yeah.
Campbell.
She starts.
What are you doing? We're being attacked. You need to come fight and defend your city.
Attacked?
Yes.
And she turns around and sees the smoke. By whom?
By Forest Edge, of all places.
What does Taishi do when she hears that?
She kind of draws in herself and looks nervously towards Adara.
And I think at this point, Adara actually sees Taishi. Campbell, what is going on?
They came to me. We're together now.
What have you done?
This is who I choose to be, and you have to accept it.
I will do no such thing. You will not dishonor our city by bringing in a foreigner.
The deed is done.
What does Taishi do?
I think Taishi's just quiet and meek. They are not a warrior. And this is this your aunt?
This was my aunt, but perhaps this is just another citizen.
Why did you dishonor her mother?
How dare you? How dare you set foot in our city where you don't belong?
Campbell thinks I belong.
Campbell does not govern this city.
No, and I do not defend it either.
I'm the Fallen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do, but you did not foresee the couple of guards that came up for Adara's attention, who she's now going to command to seize Campbell and Taishi.
What comes of it? Do they seize him?
I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're seized.
Yeah.
And yeah, put in like a little holding cell while the battle rages around us.
Oh wow, that's
What lies beneath? What is Campbell thinking about all of this?
Campbell's kind of thinking like, well, maybe if we didn't raid him so much, they wouldn't be attacking us back right now, huh?
Fair point.
I think Campbell is just feeling fed up, stubborn, but proud that she stood by her beliefs and stood by her partner, but maybe a little fearful too. That sounds like a scene.
Yeah.
So if we have a couple more minutes. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that we filled it all in. Or
Okay.
Pillar, do you want to say that we filled it all in?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And we're going to do our little epilogue-y thing. So, starting with the pillar, then the fallen, then the hero, narrate a final vignette of either the hero or the haven in the final moments of collapse. It sounds like we're collapsing because of this invasion.
We're not prepared to be invaded at all.
Yeah. We didn't make defenses.
We just need gates to keep the horses in. That's it.
Yeah.
So a vignette. Oh, this is really nasty, but here we go. So we have a fur-covered, like a pelt-covered forest edge warrior who, while Adara is out talking to Campbell, busts into their home and sees Wester, and he turns and tries to run, and he's hacked down by the forest edge warrior.
No, Wester. Cool.
He falls on top of some of the same set of wood, like the prints, like a whole bunch of them that he was sorting.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of think what we end up seeing is that the forest edge raiders come in and like we have like tall grass surrounding precipice, so like a lot of the roofs are like thatched grass, which burn very, very, very well. So I think the visual that I'm seeing is just like the fires start and they just spread from house to house to house, and we can't stop them.
And I think our final little vignette, we see the forest edge raiders digging a mass grave, and none of our people have the honorable burial down the waterfall.
Oh, wow.
Aww.
Downfall! Oh, that's it. That's the end. Thank you guys so much for playing.
That was really cool.
Yeah. So usually we would have maybe like one more rotation where we play each character. The general pacing usually happens so that we're in calm for a little while and then conflict for a little while, and then it just sort of cascades pretty quickly to the end once we reach a little tipping point. Yeah.
Very cool.
I feel like we got a satisfying ending even if we were rushing a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't use any Russian names. What do you mean, Caroline?
We have a list for that.
I know. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on to run Downfall.
you.
You've got a few more days left for the Kickstarter, right?
Yep. It's done on Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. Any stretch goals that you're trying to unlock that are out there right now?
Let's see if we unlocked it during. I think we're still aiming for our color printing stretch goal, but we're pretty close to that when we started playing.
Yeah, you're sitting at just under 28,000, and you're.
We'll make it. We'll make it.
Yes, you will. So please do go on to Kickstarter. You can search for Downfall. There are a few other Downfalls, but this one's the cool with the sky background and like this floating citadel. That's really beautiful art there. Thank you for coming on and sharing this game with us, Caroline.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
It was a pleasure to play with you guys. You guys are excellent.
Thank you. So if you like this and others, you want to see some other demos, because we like to do this from time to time, don't we, Jen?
We do.
We do. So Jen is going to be my pointer at her for you can subscribe.
Down in the corner. It might actually be in front of Caroline's face. There's like a little Indie Plus. If you hover over it, you can subscribe.
That's right. So please do subscribe, and we will have a link to the Kickstarter in the YouTube notes. So feel free to go in and back it. Thanks again, Caroline.
Yay, thank you.
All right. Everybody have a good night.